Welcome, one and all, back to the Viper's Nest. So, Concord is dead. Well, that didn't last very long, did it? A lot of people are celebrating the fact that Concord is dead, and a lot of people are bemoaning the fact that Concord is dead. But before I even get into the focus of this video, which is why I think Concord died, let's ask the question, did I actually play Concord? As a matter of fact, I did. A friend of mine downloaded the closed beta, we dicked around with it for about an hour or two, and we came to the conclusion that, just from a purely gameplay point of view, it was alright. It was a perfectly middle-of-the-road, team-based hero shooter that really did nothing to differentiate itself from things like Overwatch. So, yeah. That's about it for gameplay. It was a game that you can play. Or I guess it was a game that you could have played before they shut it down. So, Concord died. Why do I think Concord died? Well, let's get into it. A lot of people on the internet are, once again, well, I mean, can't say once again, they never really stopped, but they're throwing around things like DEI killed Concord. And a lot of people are arguing that, oh, Concord just never got a chance because the bigots didn't let it. The bigots didn't like it. Alright, now before I go any further, I'm going to acknowledge some points. Yes, there are probably people out there who enjoyed Concord and played it. Doesn't seem to be many of them, since there was less people played Concord than there was people who have watched my silly cat videos on my tiny YouTube channel. But they were there. There were people who liked Concord. And are there bigots who play video games? Yeah, I'm sure there is if, late 2000s, early 2010s Xbox Live chat was anything to go by. Yeah, they exist. But that's not most gamers. Most gamers, I think, are probably normal people like me. People who just want to play video games for fun. So, with those points acknowledged, why didn't all the normal people like me play Concord? Well, here's why I think that is. So, if you're on the internet, you can't go to places like Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it now, or TikTok, or anything like that, without seeing the ongoing arguments from both sides on things like DEI and representation. It is an undeniable fact that if you are online at any time in the present world, those arguments are now a part of your normal, everyday, real life. You cannot get away from it. And video games, in my opinion, at their most basic and core purpose, are about escape. People like me play video games because we want to get away from real life. Because, I mean, let's face it, real life is real life, and it kind of sucks most of the times when people need a break from real life. So, like, when I'm playing a video game, I'm going somewhere like, I don't know, to Resident Evil 2, to walk around the RPD and shoot zombies. Or I'm going to Star Wars Squadrons to hop in the cockpit of a TIE bomber, take to the stars, and fight against the frickin' New Republic. Or I'm going to Mech Warrior to take control of a 100-ton assault mech to go flatten an enemy base and make lots of money doing it. Or I'm going to somewhere like Sunless Skies to fulfill my fantasies as a space trucker. You know, things that are very, very far away from real life. And then you get something like Concord, whose, story and character designs are so blatantly based in someone attempting to push some agenda. And at that point, you are taking things from the real life that people like me are trying to temporarily get away from. You're taking real life and stuffing it into the place we go to get away from real life. I mean, look, I'll be real with you. If I'm playing a game where I like shoot zombies or fly spaceships, I don't want to be thinking about what someone's pronouns might be. I'm not saying I have anything against trans people, because I don't. I'm actually very good friends with trans people, but that's real life stuff. And I'm going to Star Wars Squadrons to get the fuck away from real life stuff. You dig what I'm saying? And also the character designs in Concord were not great. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there who liked the character designs of Concord, and if you did, I mean, hey, that's fine. Good for you. It's no skin off my back whether you liked it or not. It's not my thing. It's like, to use a different example, one second. To use a different example, Rick and Morty. A lot of people who've watched Rick and Morty that I know, all of them, say that if I watched Rick and Morty, I would love it. But here's the thing. I don't like the art style of Rick and Morty. I can't stand looking at it. Ergo, I'm not going to watch it. And a lot of people also did not like the character designs of Concord. And if you don't like looking at something, you're probably not going to engage with it at all, let alone spend your hard-earned money on purchasing it. Dig what I'm saying? Point is, people who made Concord forgot the very most basic fact of doing any kind of business. You have to give the customer what they want. And I hate to break it to you, but people, normal people like me, did not want Concord. We saw it, we didn't like what we saw, ergo, we weren't going to get it. And if you don't give the customer what they want, odds are very good you are not going to get the customer's money, which you need to continue functioning as a business. And that's really why Concord died, in my opinion. They did not give the customer base what they wanted. Now, like I said, there were some people who did like Concord and did play Concord. I want to say, like, what? At their best, there was a couple of hundred people playing Concord last time anyone looked at Steam, I think. But a few hundred people does not a customer base make. And from what I remember reading, this game was in production for 8 years and cost something like $100 million. If only a few hundred people bought and played Concord, they didn't make anywhere close to making back what they spent, actually producing this game. So the developers, have taken a huge net loss as far as funding goes. And without funding, you can't keep making video games, and you can't keep making games, can't keep existing as a studio without money. Money does well and truly make the world go round, and guess what? We, the customers, have the money. And if you do not deliver the product that we, the customers, want, you will not get our money. And you will cease functioning. And that, in my opinion, is why Concord died. Simply because the studio did not give the customers what they want. It sucks. Well, I mean, I didn't really care for Concord, so it didn't matter to me. I didn't pay for it. But for the people who liked Concord, that sucks. I'm sorry you lost out on a product you liked. But the fact of the matter is, you are not the majority of the customers. You do not control the majority of the money. And we, the normal people who did control the majority of the money, did not want Concord. It's plain and simple. Give the customer what they want. And I will leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. A like and a subscribe and a comment would sure be appreciated. See you on the next episode, and as always, have yourself a wonderful day.